Sarah Thompson wiped the sweat from her brow as the hot Texas sun beat down on the tarmac at Fort Bliss. The military base sprawled out like a giant puzzle of hangars, barracks, and endless rows of helicopters, all set against the dusty mountains in the distance. El Paso was just a short drive away, a place where soldiers like her could grab a burger or catch a movie on weekends, but most days, Sarah's world was right here, knee-deep in grease and metal. At 32, Sarah had the kind of quiet strength that came from years of pushing through what others thought she couldn't handle. Her dark hair was pulled back in a tight bun under her cap, and her uniform hugged her athletic frame, marked with the scars of hard work, calloused hands, and a faint burn mark on her forearm from a welding accident years ago. She was a crew chief for the Apache helicopters, the fierce attack birds that could rain down fire from the sky. But today, like so many days, she was on maintenance duty, scrubbing the 30 chain gun on one of the beasts named Thunderstrike. The other guys in her unit, a mix of young recruits and grizzled veterans, lounged nearby under the shade of a tent. They were supposed to be helping, but as usual, they left the grunt work to her. "Hey, Thompson, make sure you don't chip a nail on that thing," called out Sergeant Mike Harlan from his folding chair. He was a burly man in his 40s, with a mustache that looked like it belonged in an old Western movie. The others chuckled. Privates Jenkins and Ramirez, both barely out of their 20s, joined in with smirks. Sarah didn't look up. She kept polishing the barrel, her movements steady and precise. "I've got it covered, Sarge," she replied evenly, her voice calm like a still pond. Inside, though, it stung. It always did. She joined the Army right out of high school in a small Ohio town, dreaming of adventure and purpose. But from day one it was the same story. Too small, too female, not tough enough for the real jobs. They mocked her for everything, her careful checklists, her habit of double-checking equipment, even the way she tied her boots. "Princess Sarah," they'd call her behind her back, thinking she didn't hear. But Sarah heard everything. She remembered the basic training drills where the drill sergeants pushed her harder, waiting for her to break. She didn't. She excelled in marksmanship, earned her stripes faster than most, and volunteered for the toughest assignments. Yet here she was, 10 years in, still proving herself every single day. Her emotional armor was thick, built from nights alone in her barracks, fighting back tears of frustration. She sacrificed weekends with friends back home, holidays with her aging parents, all for this life. And for what? To be the punchline in a boys' club. As she worked, a new pilot approached the helicopter. Captain Alex Rivera was fresh from flight school, tall and confident with sharp features and a reputation for being a hotshot. He'd been assigned to Thunderstrike for a training run later that afternoon. Rivera climbed up to the cockpit, glancing down at Sarah. "You the one prepping my bird?" he asked, his tone casual but laced with that familiar doubt. "Yes, sir," Sarah said, standing straight. "Guns clean, systems checked, she's ready to fly." Rivera nodded, but his eyes flicked to her name tag. "Thompson, huh? You sure you know what you're doing with that cannon? Looks heavy for you." The words hit like a slap, but Sarah kept her face neutral. "I've handled worse, Captain, it's all good." He shrugged and started his pre-flight checks. Sarah went back to her task, her mind wandering to better times. She thought of her late brother, Tom, who had inspired her to enlist. He'd been a Marine, killed in action overseas when she was just a kid. His memory fueled her, his bravery, his sacrifice. She wore a small patch on her uniform sleeve, a faded emblem from his unit, the 3rd Marine Division. It was her talisman, a reminder of why she pushed on. The guys nearby erupted in laughter again. "Watch out, Rivera. Thompson might accidentally shoot your tail rotor off. She's got butterfingers," Harlan joked loudly. Sarah's grip tightened on the rag. She wanted to snap back, to tell them about the missions she'd supported, the lives she'd helped save by keeping these machines in top shape. But she swallowed it down. Justice would come someday, she told herself. For now, she focused on the work. As Rivera settled into the pilot's seat, his gaze caught on something: Sarah's patch. The faded Marine emblem. He froze, his hand pausing mid-reach for the controls. His face went pale, eyes widening in recognition. Wait, Thompson, as in related to Sergeant Tom Thompson. Sarah looked up surprised. He was my brother, why? Rivera's voice dropped to a whisper. I heard the stories. He saved my unit back in 12. Pinned down in Helmand, he charged a machine gun nest alone. Gave us time to evac. I was just a private then. The tarmac seemed to quiet. Sarah's heart pounded. For the first time in years, someone saw her not as the girl in the unit but as part of something bigger. But Rivera wasn't done. That patch, it's his. Ma'am, I had no idea. The word ma'am hung in the air, respectful and unexpected. Harlan and the others overheard, their laughs fatting. Sarah stood taller, a spark of pride igniting in her chest. But this was just the beginning. The day was far from over, and the base held secrets that would test her strength like never before. Little did she know, Rivera's recognition would unravel a chain of events, pulling her into a web of old grudges and hidden truths. As the sun dipped lower, Sarah finished her work, unaware that her journey to redemption was about to take flight. The hum of the Apache's engines echoed across the base as Captain Rivera powered up Thunderstrike for his training flight. Sarah stepped back, watching from the ground crew area, her mind still reeling from his words. It had been years since anyone mentioned Tom without pity in their eyes. Usually it was tough break or sorry for your loss. But Rivera, he spoke with awe like Tom was a legend. It warmed something deep inside her, a flicker of validation amid the constant doubt. Back in the maintenance tent, Harlan eyed her suspiciously. What was that all about, Thompson? Pilot got a crush or something? He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Jenkins snickered. Yeah, maybe he's into grease monkeys. Sarah ignored them, grabbing her toolkit and heading to the next chopper. But inside, the mockery gnawed at her. She remembered her first deployment, Afghanistan, in 2015. She'd been assigned to a forward operating base, fixing Black Hawks under fire. One night, insurgents hit hard, rockets screaming in. While others panicked, Sarah stayed calm, repairing a damaged rotor so her team could evac wounded soldiers. She earned a commendation for it. But back home, the guys dismissed it as luck. Anyone could do that, they'd say. Her emotional strength came from those moments, forged in fire. She sacrificed relationships, a fiancé who couldn't handle the distance, friends who drifted away. Now living in the barracks, her life was routine. Wake at dawn, PT, work till dusk, repeat. The small-town feel of El Paso offered escapes, walks along the Rio Grande, coffee at a local diner where old-timers shared war stories. But even there, she felt alone, underestimated. As the day wore on, Rivera returned from his flight, landing smoothly. He hopped out and made a beeline for Sarah. Sergeant Thompson, can we talk? Privately. She nodded, curious, and they walked to a quiet spot near the hangar. Your brother's story, it changed my life, Rivera confessed, his voice low. After that day, I decided to become a pilot, to honor guys like him. But listen, there's something you should know. Back then, there was talk, rumors about how the mission went wrong. Some brass covered up mistakes that got him killed. Sarah's stomach twisted. What do you mean? The report said it was enemy fire. Rivera glanced around. It was, but they sent him in without proper intel. A colonel named Hargrove, he's stationed here now in command. I heard he buried the truth to protect his career. The name hit Sarah like a punch. Colonel Hargrove, the base commander, was known for his iron fist and favoritism. He'd overlooked her promotions twice, citing team fit issues, code for not liking women in combat roles. If this was true. I can't prove it, Rivera added, but if you dig, maybe justice for Tom. Sarah's mind raced. Sacrifice had defined her life, but this, exposing a cover-up, could end her career. Yet the injustice burned. Tom's death wasn't just a loss, it was a betrayal. That evening in her barracks room, a small space with a bed, desk, and photos of her family, Sarah pulled out an old box. Inside were Tom's letters, his dog tags, and that patch. Tears welled up as she read his words. Keep fighting, sis. You're stronger than they know. The next day brought more mockery. During a unit briefing, Hargrove himself visited. He scanned the room, his eyes lingering on Sarah. "Thompson, I hear you're good with tools. Stick to that. Leave the flying to the men." The room tittered. Sarah's cheeks flushed, but she met his gaze. "Yes, sir, but I can do more." He smirked and moved on. It was a small injustice, but it fueled her. She decided to investigate, starting with old reports. Rivera promised to help, sharing contacts from his old unit. As tensions rose, Sarah faced a choice: stay silent or risk everything for truth. The base felt smaller, shadows longer, and in the quiet moments her strength grew, ready for the storm ahead. Weeks passed and Fort Bliss carried on with its rhythm: drills at dawn, the roar of engines, the scent of jet fuel mixing with desert dust. Sarah threw herself into her work, but now with a secret purpose. By day, she maintained the Apache, enduring the jabs from Harlan and the crew. "Still playing mechanic, princess," they'd say. She smiled through it, her emotional core hardening like steel. Nights were for digging. In the base library or her room, she pored over declassified files, emailed old comrades. Rivera helped, slipping her documents during off hours. "This is risky," he warned one evening over coffee in El Paso's quiet suburbs. "Hargrove has friends in high places." "I know," Sarah replied, her voice steady, "but Tom deserves justice, and so do I." Her journey deepened. She recalled her own moments of sacrifice: a missed mother's birthday, a promotion denied because women distract the team. It built resentment but also resolve. She trained harder, running miles in the heat, lifting weights till her muscles ached. Strength wasn't just physical, it was facing the mirror, admitting the pain. One breakthrough came via an old Marine buddy of Tom's. Over an encrypted call he shared: "Hargrove ignored warnings about the ambush, sent your brother in blind to meet a deadline, covered it up with fake reports." Proof was elusive, but pieces fit. Sarah felt a mix of anger and hope. Injustice had shadowed her life. Now she'd expose it. But Hargrove noticed. During an inspection, he cornered her. "Heard you're asking questions, Thompson. Drop it, or you'll regret it." His threat chilled her, but she stood firm. "Just honoring my family, sir." That night sabotage struck. Thunderstrike's gun jammed during a test fire. Fingers pointed at Sarah. Harlan accused her openly. Sloppy work as expected. Humiliated, she fought back tears in private. It was a setup, she knew. Her development peaked here. From underestimated to targeted, her bravery shone. With Rivera's support, she gathered evidence. A leaked memo proving the cover-up. The base buzzed with tension, her allies growing. Redemption loomed, but danger too. As summer heat gave way to cooler winds, Sarah's investigation intensified. The small-town charm of nearby El Paso, offered brief respites, but the base was her battlefield. Mockery escalated. The guys isolated her, whispering troublemaker. Emotionally, she leaned on memories: Tom's laugh, her parents' pride. Sacrifice meant long hours, lost sleep. Rivera became a friend, sharing his own doubts. "You're inspiring me," he said. A key witness emerged, a retired officer with records. "Hargrove falsified everything," he confirmed. Sarah compiled a dossier, ready to report up the chain. But Hargrove struck first, reassigning her to desk duty, citing performance issues. Injustice peaked. She felt broken but rallied. In a heated meeting, she confronted him. "I know what you did to my brother." He laughed it off, but fear flickered in his eyes. The unit watched, opinions shifting. Her strength won respect from some, like Jenkins, who apologized. "I was wrong about you." The climax built. An anonymous tip led to an audit. Hargrove's lies unraveled. Sarah's journey from mock to hero neared completion. The investigation hit full stride, auditors swarming the base. Sarah testified, voice unwavering, detailing the cover-up. Emotional beats hit hard, reliving Tom's death, facing doubters. Hargrove was exposed, demoted, his career ruined. Justice served, but with a twist. During a final flight, Rivera invited Sarah to co-pilot Thunderstrike. "You earned this," he said. Up in the air, she saw the patch's true power, symbol of legacy. Landing to applause, the unit saluted. Harlan muttered respect. "Sorry, Thompson, you're the real deal." The twist, Hargrove's confession, revealed he mocked her because she reminded him of his failures. Revenge was sweet, but respect sweeter. Sarah stood tall, redeemed, her strength eternal.